Toastmasters. Welcome you all for the meeting number 1184. Am I correct?
Yes.
How do you know?
The board says so.
The board says so, right. And the credits for the board again goes for me, you see. Can you all please give me a big round of applause? This is Varsha, the Sergeant at Arms. So I just have a couple of duties that I need to fulfill. Out of which I'm doing the first one, which you are probably bored of by now because it's such a monotonous thing. I keep coming again and again on all Fridays, telling that you'll have to switch off your mobiles. I know that you do it, but still, it's just a custom, and I've been instructed to instruct you guys, and it's just a formality. Don't mind. Apart from this, you all know, you're all educated enough, and you all know that you're not supposed to speak about religion, politics and sex on stage, which you will however do. That is again there. And most importantly, not even in school we would follow instructions so seriously that we are not supposed to loiter here and there, but you guys are such champs these days, you guys don't even take the middle path. And thereby we are actually able to see wonderful YouTube videos. So that's about the general instructions which you are however following. So now I had a quick question for you guys. So how many of you remember Rio Olympics? Olympics? What did we win, Rahil?
I don't remember that.
You don't remember that? There was one person who experienced a defeat which actually broke millions of Indians' hearts. We were actually waiting to see that gold medal, but we ended up in silver.
Badminton.
Yes? And who was that?
PV Sindhu.
PV Sindhu, right. What did she lose that day? Focus? She lost gold, yes, she lost gold. That's an important thing. But today, what is she? Come again?
She's buying gold now.
In the World Championship, she wins a gold and makes us proud. So all that I had to say was, when you learn out of your defeats, you actually do not lose much, is what I had to say. There's another popular example. You see a girl coming and opening meetings week after week, every week, very boldly, very charmingly, very enthusiastically. This girl might not win all speeches that she participates in, but she's improved so much despite facing those defeats. Today, her manager or her parents cannot counter her. That's how I've, boyfriend also said, yes. So that's about me. So now, this is the wonderful theme for you all guys for today. You actually don't lose much if you actually learn from your defeats. And to take this theme ahead, we have the Bahubali of our club. You guys don't believe me if I tell you an incident. I was in deep sleep. I came across a dream. I thought it was Prabhas. I go close by. Surprisingly, it was Vivek Vijayan. I'll tell you the similarities. He might be Bahubali of his kingdom, but we call him Bahubali of this kingdom because there he did not want any of his subject to be left behind. But here, Vivek believes in concept that no Toastmaster should be left behind. Isn't it sinking?
Yes.
So let's all put our hands together for Bahubali of our club, Vivek Vijayan.
Thanks so much, Varsha. I call to order meeting 1184. To begin the meeting, let me call the standing secretary to read out the minutes of the previous meeting 1183.
The minutes of the meeting 1183 were published on Tuesday, that is October 15th, and so far no changes were requested.
So can we take the minutes as passed?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Shall we pass the minutes with an applause? How many of you are first time guests here? First time. first time. All right. Apart from that, we have several other guests. This is first time guest. Now, you will have an opportunity to, you will have several questions. You will have an opportunity to ask some of us the questions when we have a break at around 7:20. And can I request the committee members to just raise for a moment? You can look around, including me, you can come around and ask. Committee members, please raise. Yeah. These are the committee members. All right. So you can feel free to ask us the usual questions that you have. All right. So having said that, if you search Toastmasters is in Google, often it completes saying that Toastmasters is a cult, which is not a very good thing. It might be because there are several Toastmasters clubs, 16,000 plus Toastmasters club all over the world, but some of them might appear to be a cult. But if you look at this, you might get a feeling that there is some kind of a multi-level marketing kind of a thing that is happening here because we are extremely nice to you. We offer you some snacks and everybody comes and talks to you. This is because the biggest fear that anybody has is not death, it's considered to be public speaking. So only if we provide an environment which is conducive, which is friendly, you feel like coming here and practicing public speaking. That is the only reason. It is not easy to become a member of this club at all. Membership are not even open. Just in case you think that we are doing all this just to make you members, that's not the reason at all. All right. So having said this, something to do with the theme. In the last, 2014 quarterly business review, in my meeting in our office, there are 3 failures in straight, 1, 2, 3 product failures. I'm a product manager. I'm supposed to decide as to what the product should contain. I'm supposed to, but everything failed. And since it failed, I was presenting at the quarterly business review, saying that, oh, this is the learnings from the first product. This is learnings from the second failure. This is product from the third failure. I thought everybody will give me a standing ovation for that, including my CEO. My CEO at that time was a Spanish person, Javier. He stands up and said, he didn't stand up. He looked at me straight and says, lessons are fine, all this is fine, Vivek, but I like success better. You are not here to give us learnings about failures one after the other. So it's all the success is better always, right? So these kind of codes, if you learn from defeat, you have really lost, etc., is a consolation. If you have lost it, then you can tell these codes and be happy about yourself, but that's not the real thing that you should be doing. All right. So now we have a person in this club who wanted to be a naval officer. Now, to be a naval officer is not easy. You have to clear the first test, basic test, that's not known as the battery test. He clears that. Most of them, 70% of them clear that. Then you are called to a 5-day personality test. In the 5-day personality test is so rigorous that each day a set of them go back. They send back. Okay? You go to a naval academy, they have a staff selection board or something, and you send back. Now, he goes through all the 5 days. That means he is on the top of 0.05% of the people who have applied. Then comes the medical check. He didn't make it in a medical checkup. So that's really painful for somebody who wanted to be a naval officer, to be rejected in the last round, Usually medical checkup is a given, but he didn't make it.
He was all at sea, huh?
Looks like. So the medical officer, after that, what he does, they asked him, it must have been a devastating for you. He says, no, it is not devastating because I did everything that I could. See the music. It says, it resounds what is in his mind. It says everything, he could do everything that he could. And it only left other things which was beyond your control. And that is the reason I lost. So he takes that in his stride, and that's his learning from that kind of, I don't call it a failure, but an incident which didn't go the way you thought it would. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Toastmaster of the day. Toastmaster, or he would have been, if he had got it in the Indian Navy, he would have got the rank, the 3rd rank in Indian, 4th rank in Indian Navy, known as a commander. For a moment, Commander Shravan Nagaraj. Thank you, Toastmaster Vivek, for that wonderful introduction. I think the first test for the clearing the Navy should be to know how to swim. And I'm yet to learn that. The other thing, of course, would be regarding the medical. Yeah, it was out of my control. Keeping weight under watches was out of my control. So I couldn't clear the medical or something.
Just throw some
that.
weight around. Throw weight around.
That's what I'm doing now. Now, having become the manager in my team, so that is the only thing that I can do. Okay. Having said that, let's come now to where we are. Not at sea, but on a very safe pedestal, which is the Bangalore Toastmasters Club. How are we today? What do we choose given the choice? Defeat or victory?
Victory.
Nobody likes defeat, do we?
Defeat is a
But defeat is it's an antonym, but there is no point in a victory or a triumph unless something or somebody else also gets defeated, right? I mean, what do you win over, or how do you win over? Whom do you defeat? Right? You can't just be all alone and say I'm victorious. So something has to be there,
Defeat or weight problem.
It's almost yeah. Right. So that's a good point. We'll come to that. Now we spoke about these two things, right? Defeat and victory or triumph. But what is it that separates victory and defeat? Is it
Vijayana.
If he was an evaluator, probably yes, but not today. So is it just a score line in a cricket game or a football game or a cricket match or a badminton match, as we spoke about? This
mindset.
mindset.
Practice.
Practice and mindset. But is it more of a score line, or what like is it a victory in let's say a court judgment or a court proceeding? If you have a victory or a defeat, is that piece of paper or a piece of judgment what defines or what separates victory and defeat? Is it, let's say you're trying to win a deal or clinch a deal with a customer and you're competing against several of your competitors? Is that final contract and signature on the dotted line with your name or your company's name? Is that what separates victory and defeat? Okay. Any other thoughts? Is it so trivial? Is it so material? Is it just a piece of paper or a score line or a boundary line?
Reaching the norms.
Reaching the norms.
Yes.
Okay.
Your final mindset.
Yeah.
Okay. Your final mindset.
Meeting the expectations that you have set for yourself.
It's my thought process. Whether I am defeated or I am succeeded, it's my thought process.
Right. That is I would really appreciate that thought. And what
Meeting the expectations that we set
Meeting-
for ourselves.
meeting
We call
the
it,
expectations.
the end result, right?
Right.
For me, something might be success.
Right. So that means the biggest overcome or the obstacle that you have to do to win is to overcome yourself. All the negative traits that you have in yourself. Is it to overcome simple things? Because these things they are the first things that we spoke about, right? Those are trivial. They happen every day. Matches happen every day, deals happen every day, courts sit every day and give judgments. But what is it that we have to overcome and to do to improve ourselves? Character traits like procrastination, hesitation, fear, despair, desperation, depression. These are the things that we have to overcome and make sure that we are not defeated by ourselves, and in turn, emerge victorious or be the winners. And basically, we are actually overcoming ourselves, our own fears, our own limitations, and and then we can say we are victorious. And this is a continuous process. It's not that we do it only once in a time or once in a lifetime. We have to do it all along. So that is when you can really be proud and say that this person has has actually defeated the fears and the negatives in himself or herself. One such person who tried to defeat some of these character traits, which is like a public speaking or a hesitation or some sort of fear in themselves, was Dr. Ralph C. Smedley, who actually started the Toastmaster movement way back in Santa Ana, California in 1924. He started with a group of young people who he's thought that these people need to be coached and trained in order to be able to speak well and be better leaders. And that's how this movement started, and today it's there in several countries and several thousands of clubs and hundreds of thousands of members. Give it a big round of applause for Dr. Ralsri's medley and the Toastmasters. Coming to the club and the meeting itself, for those who come here for the first time, we meet every Friday over here, and we have the general objectives of better listening, better learning, and better speaking. And the normal meetings is organized into 2 parts. After the introduction speeches, you have a set of prepared speeches where the speakers have a topic in advance, and they go through various stages in order to be able to complete a set of projects or a particular project that they are working on and give a speech. These speeches are aimed to develop certain aspects of your public speaking skills, and you concentrate on improving that. These speeches are also evaluated by an evaluator who can give feedback so that you can improve on your speeches or whatever failures or flaws that were there. So this is the first part, and then the second part is what we call impromptu speaking, or the table topic session. Here the speakers come up on stage, but they don't really know what they're going to speak about. We will have a table topics master, and that person will be giving them topics to speak about for a short period of time, for about a minute or 2, and then the person has to then overcome their internal hesitation and fears and speak to the audience on that topic for a short period of time. This is the general structure of the meeting, and then there's of course the last section, which is the evaluation session, where the whole meeting itself is evaluated by a general evaluator, and the general evaluator will call upon evaluators for each speaker, as well as the evaluator will evaluate the whole session, the table topic session, and also the evaluators themselves. But to keep all this in control, even our fears, our hesitation, even our joy if we are victorious, everything has to be in some control and some boundary. It has to be tagged together, like the flags are on the Navy ship are tagged to some post, otherwise we just fly away in the sea. So here we have something called a tag team, which comprises of the timer who will keep track of time, the R counter who will keep track of some of the flaws that happen, and the grammarian. So today's tag team comprises of the timer, starting with Shreyas John.
As the clock master, it is my responsibility to time and record the duration of the entire meeting and its individual parts. For today's meeting, the speeches are 5 to 7 minutes in duration. At 5 minutes, I will hold up the green card, 6 minutes the yellow card, and 7 minutes the red card. Table topic speeches are from 1 to 2 minutes. At 1 minute, I will hold up the green card, and at 1.5 minutes, I will hold up the yellow card, and at 2 minutes the red card. At the end of the meeting, I will give up my report to the general evaluator and submit to the club secretary in order to become a part of the permanent record.
Thank you. The R counter for today is Toastmaster Maitresh.
Good evening, everyone. Do you know when you are a proper observer? Anyone?
When you observe others' flaws.
You are a proper observer when you are not identified by yourself. See, if you take a baby, it is not identified with anything. So when it sees it like, have you seen it? It will be like watching like this and all. Have you observed that?
Yeah.
Yes. So I'll be the same way an observer, and I'm the R counter now. I'll be looking after the crutch words like but, is there anything like that? Any other repetitive words as such, and I'll be reporting to the general evaluator at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
The grammarian for the day is Fatah Khan. Please.
Hi everybody. As grammarian, I am responsible for introducing the word of the day, and today's word is implosion, which means a situation in which something fails suddenly and completely. Like example is his campaign sudden implosion came as a surprise. His campaign sudden implosion came as a surprise. Right? Implosion is sudden. So that's my role, and I will be reporting to the general evaluator at the end of the session. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Fatah. So our speaker today has been, calls herself as a very humorous person, and she's been in the city for a long time, and more importantly, she's been